Welcome to the Premier League show. Erik ten Hag has been named as the Manchester United manager for next season. The breaking news.
Steve McLaren's is number 2. Incredible.
That is fantastic.
That's fantastic.
How do you say fantastic? Good old Steve, back at Old Trafford, of course. He had a very successful period there as the number 2 before.
He did.
But he is joining the Ten Hag as part of Manchester United's new management team for next season. The job has been touted as a poisoned chalice by many. This is what the lads on the Last Man Standing thought of that.
Is it too big a job then for Ten Hag? Can he do it, Paul? Is it a poison chalice?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's the biggest poison chalice in football alongside Real Madrid, pretty much, and probably Chelsea to some extent as well. Although I think Chelsea will settle down now because they'll have to. But no, there is the pressures obscene at Man United, and it's the weight of history that adds to that pressure. 9 years without a league title now, and that quickly becomes 10, and then when you're at 10, all bets are off really, and it is that weight of global expectation from the fan base adds to it. And then in addition to that, you've also got all the players who were absolute legends of the football club, the ones who won everything, who hold the club to higher standards on the pitch, and they're tearing that football club apart on every single channel that hosts the football across the world. And I know all this because this is what it was like to be a Liverpool fan in the 90s and early noughties, where you had to listen to Alan Hansen trying to explain to you why Bjorn Torkavama wasn't good enough to be a centre-back for Liverpool, and be like, yeah, no one was really as good as you, mate. And so, you've got all of that, and then you've got the bickering that goes on with it, and then you've got things like certain players are performing, but maybe they're not really at the level for the team ethic and all that kind of stuff, and it's very hard to unpick what is good enough when you're in that sort of mire. And Ten Hag looks a really good manager, good coach by all standards, but is he of the same standard as Klopp, Guardiola and Tuchel? Maybe. He absolutely might be, but he's going to have to be. He's going to have to be at least that good, and even if he's that good, he's still fighting against the football club.
Poison chalice. Is it only a poison chalice because people have just been a bit crap at the job?
Yeah. Liverpool would have been a poison chalice, wouldn't it? Before Klopp got it right.
Everton's a poison chalice
a lot of big, every big job is a poison chalice because fans are demanding. Clubs who've had huge success and have big, financial outlays. Manchester United have brought in Ten Hag because they believe he's the right man for the job. Now, time will tell. What I like about him as a manager is there's no baggage that comes with him, no fanfare. He is what he is. He went into Ajax and he came into Ajax as an outsider. They brought him in from another club within Holland. Teams in Germany were looking at him. They could have brought in Pochettino, but it would have been the whole thing of, well, he failed at Spurs and he's failed at PSG really. Should he have got the job a few years ago? They looked at Conte earlier on, and again, it's all that bag. This guy he's a fresh face. He's new to the Premier League. And what he's got to do is go in and sort out the dressing room straight away. The club have put their faith in him. And what has to happen is, like at any club, is that the club have to back up their side of it. This is something that we've seen at Everton. It doesn't matter what the manager does if you undermine him. If you bring in players that he doesn't want, if you bring in the kind of players that are egos and it's all about selling shirts or that kind of thing. Manchester United now have to back their manager completely 100% and say that you're in charge and you have, whether you bring in a technical director or, how that works, we don't know, but they have to let him do his side of it. And if he wants to get rid of players, which it seems Manchester United have struggled with before, the likes of Pogba will go anyway, but they've got to let him do his job. And I think the fans will be on board. That's the thing. it's only a poison challenge if the whole thing is going wrong, not just the manager. So if the manager's allowed to do his job, the fans will get on board. The fans have showed their side at the moment at Man United. They don't like the Glazers.
Yeah.
You know, they want them gone. They think they've been appointing, you know, the wrong managers, but also not helping those managers. So, yeah, every job can be a poison chalice if everything surrounding it is wrong.
Yeah, and obviously, they're bringing in Ten Hag, who was very much his own man. You know, he's had a stint in Germany, didn't he? At Bayern Munich B, didn't he? And he's done other stuff. And he's, like you say, he's coming in, he'll get on with it, he'll want to get on with it. McLaren's an interesting one, because obviously he's been at United as the number 2 before, so it's interesting, that one. It's just how long they allow him to do his job, obviously. Rangnick's there at the minute. Will he take the director of football job, or will he leave John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher still doing stuff there? So it'll be interesting to see. You talked about big egos there, big names in the dressing room. You've got to try and get a grip of that. And you've got to be patient with him, because if he's going to try and put in a brand of football that's going to get Manchester United going again, you've got to back it. One of those big egos is Cristiano Ronaldo. And he got a hat-trick at the weekend against Norwich. Just they bounced back from the Everton defeat, beat Norwich 3-2 in a tight game. They led 2-0 before ex-Everton Kieran Dowell scored, and then put a great ball through for Pukki to make it 2-2, and then Ronaldo won it with a free kick. So that got dragged them back in, obviously, into the battle for the top 4. And then they played Liverpool at Anfield on Tuesday night in what is obviously a grudge game normally. 2 big rivals. And it was a bit of a mismatch. Liverpool destroyed them. In fact, it was 55 minutes, I think, before Manchester United had a shot. Liverpool run on 4-0 winners, which led Bruno Fernandes to say after the game, well, we've got nothing to play for, which I thought was a mad thing to say for a team that needs to be in the Champions League and a team that's 1 win off the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Man United didn't have Ronaldo for the game because
of course, awful news, this week.
So they were playing without him, and which was sad. But I think, you know, the rest, that shows the mentality of this team and how they are rudderless in many ways in the dressing room, and have the wrong, and it's funny, isn't it? Because for all the sort of winners they have in the dressing room, they don't seem to have the right mentality. And even coming out after the game and saying something like that is appalling, I think. What message does that send to your fans? But the club are appalling. The fans for the Norwich game did a protest and were walking in on the 17th minute, and Manchester United on the 15th minute tweeted a video of their American fans celebrating. And it's just little things like that just cause divisions, and you don't need divisions. You need a club that look at the top 2, everyone buys into it, and that's what Manchester United have got to get back to if they want to start winning things, is everyone buying into it. And I don't really think personally that can happen under the Glazers. I really don't. I just don't think that if you've got people running the club who cause problems for the fans, you know, that club, they're taking money out of that club.
Yeah.
You know, and that money could be going into strengthening the squad.
They should be, considering how big they are and how commercially fantastic they are, they should be hugely wealthy with everything. And they are wealthy, but the Glazers have took so much money out of them. I mean, the things like, just looking at the stats in the Liverpool game, 14 attempts at goal for Liverpool, 2 for Manchester United, 1 on target. Liverpool, 72% possession. And it's like, you've lost 4-0 in a game that, you know, Liverpool have beat them. They beat them 5-0 at Old Trafford. They beat them 4-0 at home. It's for Manchester United. That's mad. That's mad.
You know, I think a lot of other teams would go there and to Anfield and have better numbers. And you're talking about the biggest rival in the Premier League, which is, you know, rivalry in the Premier League. And for Man United players to turn in a display like that, and, you know, they haven't again, probably they're bringing, you know, Rangnick in. Again, has let a lot of players just be able to go, we haven't even got a proper manager, let's just do what we want. So there's a lot of I mean, Gunnar Solskjaer said this a few years ago. He said, I have to be able to get rid of the players that I want to get rid of. He got rid of Lukaku, but he never got rid of Pogba, because he said he couldn't really afford to lose both of them in one summer, and he should have. And that club is a little bit rotten. But what they have got is a manager in place, and they have got the money to, you know, to turn it round.
Just Liverpool, very briefly on Liverpool, obviously.
Very briefly.
Destroyed Manchester United there to go top of the league. 4-0, 2 goals for Mo Salah. I mean, the first goal, Manchester United defender on the halfway line against one of the quickest teams, was utterly 3v1. Basically, it was for Luis Diaz's goal. Mane and Salah with 2 very well taken goals, but then top of the league. With it, you know, City weren't playing until Wednesday night. So, you know, good for them. They just beat Manchester City at Wembley, obviously, in the FA Cup at the weekend, and went above them. City came back, though, the next night very strongly with a 3-0 win against Brighton.
Big second half display. Could have been one of those where Brighton parked the bus a little bit. But Man City went out second half and turned them over, got the 3 goals and went back top of the league. And it's going to be ridiculously close now for the rest of the season. You know, both teams have essentially got to win every single game.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Every single game.
The pressure that brings.
And both of them will finish in the 90s, the mid-90s.
They've posted unbelievable
It's just
points.
unbelievable. 2 unbelievable teams. But that's a big win after what Manchester City, you know, put out a B team basically in the semi-final. It's a big win for them and puts them back top of the league.
Top of the league. In the race for the, you know, because we just talked about Manchester United and that was what implications that had for the 4th place, you know, winning that game at the weekend. We saw Spurs play Brighton with you know, early on Saturday with the opportunity to put a marker down for the rest. And we're beaten with a Trossard goal in the 90th minute.
And obviously
never got going.
No, and obviously then, you know, Arsenal were at Southampton and then they get beat.
They got beat.
So you got, and don't get me wrong, listen, it was an unbelievable display by Fraser Forster in goal. He made some unbelievable saves for Southampton. You know, Arsenal did really batter them. You know, 2 goalkeepers in goal. One's touted as an England goalkeeper, the other's touted as like a former England goalkeeper. Well, I know which one I'd rather have in goal because Fraser was huge.
23 attempts.
So you've got those. You've got those. Obviously, so Manchester United put themselves back in contention. Chelsea obviously playing already basically guaranteed the 3rd place. They've played, and then that led us on to obviously Wednesday night. Arsenal away at Chelsea. Chelsea through to the FA Cup final. Had obviously beaten Southampton 6-0 before. And Arsenal come and score 4 goals against them, and Chelsea have suddenly conceded 4 goals in 2 home games, which is in both home games, which is mad. But a brilliant performance by Arsenal to put themselves, you know, could have been 4 defeats in a row, but you know, Chelsea
had 68% of the possession, 11 attempts to 14, but we're beaten 4-2. I mean, a couple of the goals, one of Nketiah's goal, I mean, what Christensen was doing, just knocking the ball back straight to him. But, you know, great result for Arsenal because there was, again, crazy talk that Arteta was getting questioned again as whether he should remain as the manager after losing 3 on the run, but they've gone and won a huge game there.
And that leaves Arsenal and Tottenham on the same points and on the same games now.
Yeah. Arsenal have got Man United, of course, at home at the weekend.
They do face each other in a few weeks, but it's Manchester United, So that's a massive game.
Spurs go to Brentford.
That race for the top 4 is going to go right down to the wire.
It's hotting up, isn't it? It's hotting up when you're looking at it now. I mean, we saw West Ham with another team in the running for it, albeit they're 5 points adrift now because they are Burnley at home, and first half for West Ham was just sluggish.
But they were coming off the back of that game against Lyon, which obviously won to get themselves into the semi-final of the Europa League. And I think that, you know, West Ham are a classic team in and around 6th, 7th, 8th with the Europa League. They just don't have the squad. And something had to give. And obviously Burnley missed a penalty as well. At 1-0 up, that could have sealed it, but they didn't. They got the late goal. And really, West Ham should have gone on and won it.
Well, he ended up with 61% possession, 21 attempts at goal, 8 on target. Burnley had 9 attempts at goal, 1 on target. You know, and they've got out with a point because, again, Nick Pope turned in a worldy display to grab them a point. Keeps West Ham, like you say, 4 points adrift.
Well, they're in the race for the Europa. The Europa League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where
Champions League
should be
5 points adrift, sorry, Spurs, but play the game more. But it's looking now. Spurs and Arsenal have got a game in hand on United, both on 57 points. So it's looking like that's who it's between, isn't it? You know, other games over the weekend saw...
Obviously, the bottom,
down at the
then,
bottom,
wasn't it, really?
You know, I'm sure Watford at Brentford at home, if they were to give themselves half a chance, they had to win this game. Went behind early on, equalised through Manuel Dennis, even though looked about 46 yards offside. And then lost it with the last kick of the game, basically.
After they should have scored.
After they should have scored, they hit the post and the lads stuck it over. And then Pontus Jansson's popped up with a header in the last minute
brilliant for Brentford. Great on a great
Make
run.
sure they're safe. They'll play again.
Now. Watford are very much right in it now. Obviously Norwich lost as well, as we said, to Manchester United. So Watford look a bit of a lost cause now. They're losing home games left, right and centre. It's going to be a really difficult ask. Obviously Burnley drew 1-1 with West Ham as well. So
and Newcastle practically, you know, secured their safety. They beat.
Well, they got 6 points in 2 games, didn't
Leicester at home with a 95th minute winner from Bruno Guimaraes. He also scored the first goal, which at first was ruled out for a foul, wasn't it? But when VAR checked it, Schmeichel didn't have any hands on the ball. So they allowed it after Ademola Lookman to give Leicester the lead, and then he followed it up in midweek with a Almiron goal. He beat
1-0,
Palace 1-0 at home.
40 points.
Incredible. Team that had won one game in December.
They bought well. They bought the players in all the right areas, and they bought well, and they're keeping clean sheets, and they're getting the odd goal, and that's all you can say is they got the right players in. They didn't go over the top. They bought one really good player, and everybody else was the right kind of player they needed. Left back, right back, centre back, a centre midfielder, and a striker, and they bought exactly how they should have bought.
And it's got them out of trouble.
I said Leicester. Then Leicester went to Goodison, obviously. Wednesday night, took an early lead.
Conceded
in the last
goal.
minute. They're safe, obviously mid-table.
41 points, haven't they?
They're into the semi-finals of the Conference League as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that dictates the next couple of weeks for them. And obviously Everton are now 4 points ahead of Burnley, who obviously play tonight as we record. And it's going to be a fascinating few weeks at the bottom of the table as well.
Well, looking at the table, obviously City are ahead, 77 points from 32 games. Liverpool 76 from 32 games. And then Chelsea a bit back, 62. And then obviously we talked about Spurs, Arsenal, United. And at the bottom end, Norwich, 21 points from 32 games. They look like they're gone. Watford, difficult, 22 points from 32 games. Everton still got a game in hand on Watford. And then there's Burnley, 25, and Everton on 29. And then Leeds just a bit ahead. Everton do have a game in hand. Everton and Burnley have a game in hand on Leeds, who are on 33.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, interesting, tight.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
It's going to be a big few weeks, isn't it?
It is.
The top, the middle, and the bottom.
And the bottom, lots of stuff up for grabs. So there you go. Make sure you check out the rest of our Last Fan Standing debate. There's other stuff on there as well. A link is in the description.
Subscribe as well.
Subscribe.
Leave a comment.
Give them a comment, and a like and all that. Make sure you subscribe to us. And if you want more videos, including daily live videos on Everton, join us on Patreon. See you later.